Hi there, and welcome to the second part of Learning the Ropes 3, the practical simulator session that goes with the Teacher's Guide to Learning the Ropes from the Association of Ringing Teachers, or ART. In the first half of this video, we looked at covering and plain hunt and how you can use a simulator and my simulator software of choice, which is Virtual Belfry, to actually help you to teach a student. So the first part of the second section is on counting places. Now, I distinctly remember a couple of years ago when I was making that transition from following rope numbers to actually starting to count my place, and I actually used a simulator of a different kind to achieve that. I had mobile on my phone, and I basically set mobile to plain hunt, and then I counted my places when I was quiet, sitting down, you know, watching outside the window, not looking at the screen. So basically, ringing number 5, and I started that metronome in my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1. 1. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I have to say, this was the biggest tool that I used to start counting when I was ringing. Now, of course, you have to take it from there into the tower, and at the time I didn't have a dumbbell. Now I do have a dumbbell, so let's have a look at the sort of things that we can do on a dumbbell to do a similar sort of thing. Now, when you're teaching counting and you have a student, obviously I don't have a student here today, but there are 3 parts to getting them to start counting. One is for the teacher to count when they're ringing. The second part would be for the student and the teacher to count together. Then the third part will be to have the student counting on their own. Now, we can set up plain hunt on 4 bells. We know that 4 bells slower, less things to think about when you're starting. So I've got plain hunt minimus on here. I've selected bell number 1, and it's a very simple case of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1,
Plain hunt.
1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so in the same way as you would do using a phone, but this time obviously you are ringing the dumbbell as well. Now, the first part, as I said, is with the teacher and the students counting together. You can then work it so that the student counts on their own, and then you can get them to actually start counting in their head. You can increase the number of ropes from 4 to 6 simply by selecting them, and you're basically then running plain hunt doubles. Or of course, what you can do if you want to bring more ropes in, which is something really probably more to do with Ropesite, but you can run plain hunt minimus on 6 bells and just have the front 4 working. So lots of options that you can do. You can also speed it up, slow it down, but you know, the simulator does give you a great opportunity to spend quite a bit of time getting the idea of counting into the student's head. Now, one of the other things I will say is it's very, very easy when you're doing this to always have them ringing, for example, the treble. I would strongly suggest that you select other bells for them to practice on. So make sure that they are practicing on all 5, in this case, bells, so that they are plain hunting and counting as they go, and they don't get stuck on one bell. I mean, I'm sure that everybody's been in a tower where, you know, Fred always rings bell number 4 and Jane always rings bell number 2, simply because they've always done that and they don't feel comfortable anywhere else. You need to stop that very early in a ringing career, and you can do that very simply by making sure that they are swapping the bells that they're working on. In virtual Belfry, it's as simple as clicking on the bell that you want to ring. So section 4, we're going to look at Ropesight. Again, something that I really don't think that people understand where they get it from or how it comes. It just sort of happens. But you can work on it, and the more familiarity you have with the falling ropes, the quicker it will be for you to start moving to getting an element of Ropesight. I remember the excitement when I saw the treble for the first time. So Ropesight, I think, is something that is well worth spending some time on. Now, Ropesight together with counting can be practiced on the simulator using some specific methods. If we go to a small number of bells, so we go back to our 4, and we look at the Minimus method called Bastow and generate that so we can see the blue line. If we select the treble, you'll see that all it's doing is it is going into seconds place and back into lead, and to seconds place and back into lead. But in doing so, it goes over each of the bells as it does it. So it goes over the 2, over the 4, over the 3. All happens very slowly because we've got this set to 2 hours 50, which is a slow time here. But if we go back to the ropes and we ring the treble, then this is a really good way of starting people to get some Ropesight by just going over each of the bells into second place.
Go, next time.
So going over the second, leading again. Then we're going to go over the 4, leading again, and over the 3, leading again.
That's all. Stand.
Okay, so we're just going to seconds place, and of course if we bring this into counting places, you're just going to be doing first place, seconds place, first place, second place, lead, however you want to express it. To then move forwards, if we go to a doubles method, so we change our bells to 6 and we look at doubles. There is a thing called Cloister Doubles. And if we generate Cloister Doubles, we'll see that what Cloister Doubles does is it hunts to thirds place. So this is the next stage. So again, you're moving down an extra place within the method. So we can ring that.
Next time.
Seconds place, thirds, seconds, lead, seconds, thirds, seconds, lead, seconds, thirds, thirds, seconds,
That's
lead,
all.
lead,
Stand.
and it's very easy to see on the screen that you are going through all the bells in order. Now, to take that one step further, if we then look at the minor method, that is called Little Bob Minor, and again we concentrate on the treble, we find that the treble hunts now to 4th place. So there you go, you've got Bastow Minimus on 4 bells that will hunt, will just go to 2nd place and back, Cloister Doubles which will go to 3rd place and back, and then if you can ring Little Bob Minor as the treble, you'll then go to 4th place and back again. Now, some of these methods are not available, so what I'm going to do is put them all in the notes below, the notation for them, so that you can set them up, and I might even put them up on the screen as we go. And we then have and are coming to a rather clever exercise that's called Flying Dutchman. Now, Flying Dutchman is not a true method in any way, shape or form. It is definitely an exercise, and a lot of you may have already rung this in the tower before, but what it basically is a Grandsire Start going into plain hunt, or it's the equivalent of calling the bells from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 1, 2, 5, 3, 4, and then starting plain hunt. And what actually happens when you do that is that you find, if you're ringing the treble, then you ring over each of the bells 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in turn as you're going up and down the method. Now again, that one isn't available off the out of the box within Virtual Belfry, but I have actually created it, and with a bit of help from my friend Doug Nichols, who produced Virtual Belfry, he sort of tweaked what I did and showed me a far easier way of doing it. But if we go to our doubles methods and we go to plain hunt doubles, we'll find that there's I've put in a thing called Flying Dutchman here. Now, in the composition list, what we have done is we've taken 2 methods, which is a method I created called Grandsire Start Doubles, which basically just keeps the bell in 3rd place, so bell number 3, it makes 1 blow, 4 and 5 swap, and then it goes into plain hunt. It's the way that I produced it, so I put the 2 of them together into a composition, and that composition basically says Grandsire Start, my Grandsire, and then plain hunt, and it's a single part. Doug actually came back and said, no, you don't need to do that. What you can do is simply pick the normal Grandsire doubles method, pick the plain hunt doubles method, and put them into the composition with Grandsire and then plain hunt. Now, I've actually, even in this one, it's slightly different because I've put a P in there for a plain course. You don't actually need that. It can be just like that. And if we now choose that and generate it, you'll notice down at the bottom here that the generation goes and goes and goes, because the other thing about Flying Dutchman is that once you go into plain hunt, it never comes round to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and therefore the method, as far as Virtual Belfry is concerned, never completes. Now, after 6,000 rows have been generated, it asks you if you want to continue. That's so it doesn't just go on forever, which it would do. We'll say no, and then we can see we have our Grandsire doubles. So we have our Grandsire Start, so 3 that would have been the middle of making thirds within Grandsire, goes back to the front and then goes into plain hunt. 4 and 5, they swap. and the treble and 2 are obviously, as it always happens in Grandsire, they are hump bells. So what we can do with that is to, if we ring it from the treble,
Go, Grandsire.
and you can see that we're actually following the 2, following the 3, following the 4, following the 5. Going to follow the 2 again, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a very good way of
Stand.
okay, it would go on forever, but you can see there that when you're ringing, you're actually following each of the bells in turn. So those are the 2 parts of learning the ropes, part 3, that we hadn't covered in section 1. That basically completes the bits that I want to go through on learning the ropes 3. We will be doing 4 and 5 shortly, but I hope this has been useful. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, and if you hit the bell by it, then you'll find that you get notified when more of these videos get posted. If you have any comments, we love comments, please put them below and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Again, my great thanks to Doug Nichols of Virtual Belfry for producing what is, I believe, the best simulator software available, and also for all of the help and guidance that he gives me. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon.